Holy freaking shitballs, guys. It's March 9th, 2022 at, what time is it? It looks like it's 10:24 a.m. my time. And man, holy crap. We've seen over 50,000 visits and views since last night or when I went to bed last night. This thing is blowing up exponentially. I'm going to try to field some of your questions, but I got to just channel what I'm feeling right now. Look, guys, I wanted from a theme perspective to try to be like Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. If you've ever seen that movie, actually getting the freaking adrenaline shot in her heart as she bolts up like a dart coming out of a heroin comatose, because I'm trying to be that adrenaline shot in the freaking patriots' minds of people who actually believe in liberty and justice for all and want to purge corruption. So that what appears to be happening. You know, and to take another reference, I mean, my God, you know, when I was a teenager, one of the greatest films I ever saw was Animal House, man. And I remember, like, you know, that scene where I mean, it just basically the whole collective of that film was like what happens when like guys reach a certain sexual kind of age where it's like, man, they got to try to hook up. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, and that happens for the first time, it's like this eureka where it's just like, yes! And that's kind of what's going on because, my God, people, I've been trying for so long to break through to the people that are getting freaking played by this sucker system that has literally on one side of the fence corruption and on the other side of the fence white supremacy. To hell with both of them. We got to create liberty and justice for all based on the integrity of law, and there's a way to do it. So everybody keeps asking me, what are we going to do now? For anybody who hasn't done it yet, I got to address this first. Please go to Patrick Lovell Truth Bombs the Con on YouTube. Please like and subscribe, and please give me your comments there, and please spread the word. I need this going up. We need this going up all over the place to penetrate the masses and to build on this energy that we've got going, which is a groundswell that if we can capture all the people that are lost in translation and actually electrify their soul, we can bring them into the fold to where we become a force to be reckoned with. Okay, so what are we going to do and how are we going to do it? The first thing you got to do is you got to see the con. And I'm not selling you the con so I get rich. That's not the point. I'm not even getting paid to do this. I've already finished my deal. I'm off to the next project. But I'm trying to make sure everybody understands what our country's all about so we can get to the next level. So if you go to www.thecon.tv, you have 5 different options to be able to rent for next to nothing. And I got to tell you, when I was a kid, guys, I bought freaking Kiss albums. I got Jimi Hendrix t-shirts. I got into the Clash. I got into the Sex Pistols. I was fucking paying money left and right for stuff that actually, you know, I freaking wanted to imbue and be a part of. It's just part of the way the system works, man. You buy stuff that you believe in. Okay, so that's first and foremost. But if you want it free, guess what? You can now get it free. You just got to go to a freaking library, get a library card, and you join Hoopla. So you got it one or two ways. Or you can just spend $2 an episode for the $29 trillion truth that's going to save your freaking life, okay? And my life and the United States of America so that we become the freaking powerhouse we once were and we reconfigure what we are. And that's what this is, the resurrection. Okay, we've got to come out of this slumber to purge corruption. So what do? The first thing is, if we've got millions of people equipped with the facts, they can go to Bernie Sanders, they can go to Elizabeth Warren, they can go to Donald Trump, and everybody can start chanting, con, the con, the con, because they're lying to us. They're not telling us what I'm trying to tell you, which is the ABCs of corruption that creates a system where our financial system hijacked all of the freaking institutions of our government that were supposed to be there to rein them in. But they turned the tables because people got bought. That's what corruption is, okay? And so when you put that into the manifold of the engine and you create this situation where the guys that create a car and they sabotage the brakes and we're all driving that car, they're doing it to destroy us, okay? But they're not the only ones in on it. It's global. So when you look around, for example, let's just take for example, how news might personify or reimagine what I just saw. So the markets are going through the roof today, right? They've been plunging for the last couple of days. Looks like there could be a run, could be a global calamity. My theory is that Putin invaded Ukraine and he's got the backing of China because they want to destabilize the dollar for the world's reserve currency, but we're doing it to ourselves anyway because of everything I put forward in the 2008 great financial crisis into now. But the bottom line is, it's a war between these elites who just have this geopolitical aim to try to basically create control. And if they lose a few billion people, so what? Because we've seen this goddamn, explosion of population for the last 50 years. Something's weird between 9/11, 2008, COVID, and then ultimately where we are. Whatever if that is, if it's Ming the Merciless or the Star Chamber, fuck them all, because we got to get hip to the game of life, liberty, and justice for all based on the integrity of law, that we can then in turn purge the corruption, take their freaking money back, reconfigure the United States, create separation of powers, and get rid of the corrupt actors. And you throw them in jail. And how do you do that? You got to have an investigation. After the Great Depression, the United States had the presence of mind to put an Italian immigrant, Sicilian immigrant, who happened to be a freaking expert in the mob, and that's all he needed to do to get inside Wall Street secrets to ultimately come up with the core hearings that had the attention of the media at the time, because the Great Depression generated what we're about to experience if we're not already there. And the bottom line is, when you have 25% unemployment, nobody can eat, and then they find out that they get jacked by the system, they want to freaking fix the system or destroy it, one of the two. So instead of going the pathway of Nazism, which Germany did, or going the pathway of Stalinism, which Russia did, we went to the law through Procura. We reconfigured the law to put the beast of freaking greed and deception back in the freaking cave in which it belongs. And if you want kind of a biblical reference, this is another freaking frame of mind that I've always had. The greatest trick the devil ever played was to convince the world he didn't exist. But I channeled my inner Ezekiel Rollins and I went on the road because I got tired of them pissing on my head telling me it was rain. Because they must have thought I was some kind of new fool. Guess what? All of you are starting to figure that out too. So the point is, the great resurrection has to start with you understanding how the system works. If you work at Walmart, you got to take a little bit of time to understand why you're stuck. If you work in a real estate, you got to find out exactly what part of the puzzle you're working for, right? And maybe some of you will start doing the right thing, because I know a few of you that are good people. If you're, for example, an investor, same thing, blah, blah, fucking blah. It's all based on monetary policy from the Federal Reserve that's controlled by the asset managers in our financial system, which are the too big to fail banks that are above our government and our elected officials, which means you do not live in a democracy. We do not have life, liberty, and justice for all. You live in a corporate fascist system undergirded by a criminal syndicate, and they don't care about you, me, our children, our grandchildren, anyone. They will fucking take us all down because they're that sick. They've done it for decades now. What we need to do is get control. You get control. Millions of us come together. We start at Patrick Lovell, Truth Bombs the Con. You go to hashtag the resurrection. You freaking blitz, Twitter blitz, Jon Stewart, Tom Morello, Brad Pitt, all the good guys, Bono, although he's been playing with the banks, whatever. Bruce Springsteen, who thinks he's buddy-buddy with Barack Obama, and Barack Obama freaking played coverman for this whole crime syndicate that gave us Trump. And there's a couple of other guys that come to mind. Quite frankly, you got to go after, who's the top of the freaking apex for me? I mentioned Tom Morello, and I mentioned, I know, my favorite, Jennifer Lawrence. She just had a child. Thank God, good for her. She's a wonderful human being. I love Kate DiBiase. I'm Kate DiBiase, just trying to warn the world of the comet corruption that will destroy us. Look, I'm so sorry I'm yelling. I'm a little fired up because for some reason people are responding to the energy that I'm putting out there. And I'm trying to be this nuclear fission to get people to freaking get supercharged so we can get in the game and we can push back and get our country back. Not violently. We can do this with a civil rights-like movement, but I'm sorry I got to get fired up. You know why? I was a punk rock guy. I was a heavy metal guy. I was a football guy and a rugby guy, an extreme athlete, and everything I do is to supercharge. You know what I'm saying? That's who Patrick Lovell is, but he cares about the dignity and the integrity of the United States. And I don't want to shout, but unfortunately, it's a loud freaking universe, and you only listen when somebody's bringing it to you like this. I'll try to be more calm tomorrow. Onwards and upwards. Let's get this.